And now we're going to bring back Sinclair Political Commentator Ameshia Cross to discuss what happened in Georgia this week. Ameshia, Democrats had a resounding win, two Senate seats. And by the way, that flips the balance of power from the Republicans to the Democrats in the Senate as well. What does this tell you about what the American people are handing Joe Biden?
Well, I think the American people are handing Joe Biden the victory and the type of victory that America wants to see. On the campaign trail, we heard Warnock and Ossoff both talk about how, should they be in the Senate, that these $2,000 checks would come through, these $2,000 relief checks. We heard them talk about getting America back to work. We heard them talk about economic advancement. We heard them talk about student loan debt relief. I think that with those two now going to Senate, the response is resounding amongst many Americans who honestly are looking towards a better future or looking towards a lot of the promises that were made on these campaign trails and knew that if they did not have these two Senate races won, there would be a really hard trudge and hard fight for both Biden and Harris to try to get any of what they talked about for the past few months to actually come to fruition. These two Senate seats make it possible for the American people to finally be able to get back on track in so many ways.
A couple things there, Ameshia, and I'm an advocate for divided government. I like to see at least one chamber, either the White House, the House, or the Senate, to go to the opposite party. I just don't like it where there's a party that can push through ideas and have rubber stamps across all along the way. It feels like that's what we're going to end up having. You mentioned the $2,000 check. You mentioned student debt relief. Are we to a point in America where the group or the party that offers the most stuff to voters are ultimately going to prevail in the vote?
So, Eric, I think that we're at a point in America where, and we have been here for a while now, and it's just shrinking even more because of the COVID-19 crisis, but the middle class has consistently gotten smaller. The poverty across America continues to grow. In the developed world, the Western culture, we have the largest amount of children living in poverty of any place around the globe when we're talking about nations that are wealthy. We're talking about, again, the developed world. In the Western culture, that is a problem. It is a problem that we are, as a nation, have continued to basically walk around broke wearing Gucci belts. This is not how we should be responding. We have environmental issues. We have, again, the COVID-19 backdrop. My grandmother is currently suffering from COVID-19 and pneumonia, is in a hospital right now. So when I see a president like Donald Trump who has ignored and continues to talk about how much this pandemic is gone or how much it, the hospitals or doctors are lying about its effects, it is damaging to the people who, like my family, are watching our loved ones go through this process right now. So having him leave, having a Biden administration, having a Senate controlled by Democrats, having a House controlled by Democrats, we're welcoming the types of changes that help to allow for Americans to get back on track with their health care, to eradicate COVID-19, to actually have a plan.
And by no means am I defending anything that's going on this week. It's atrocious. It's horrendous. But is there any credit you can give to the Trump administration for pushing through the vaccine relief? And honestly, Ameshia, the unemployment numbers for African Americans in America are the lowest under Donald Trump than any president in the history of the country. And the more blacks are out of poverty and working than any time in the history of the country. Does Trump get any credit for that?
Trump doesn't get any credit for that last part. Many of those stats have been dispelled time and time again by particularly Black media sources. But when it comes to the Operation Warp Speed, I will give credit where credit is due for the scientists, the technology that we have, and the advancements that have been there with our DNA and mRNA that allow these vaccines to be available. But to have a Operation Warp Speed that didn't include how we were actually going to get these vaccines to the people who needed them the most, a no coordination plan for states or state assistance and how they would give these vaccines out, that to me is a huge blind spot in the entire operation.
No doubt, Ameshia. I'm going to have to wrap it up here. I don't disagree with you there, but it's not the federal authorities' responsibility to administer these drugs. Their authority is to get the drugs to the states. And let's put this at the hands of the people who are really at fault here. It's the governors of each state. About 30 seconds, final thought.
Governors do have a great role and responsibility, but a federal action plan would have been helpful. Consult with those governors would have been helpful. And right now, that's something we just have not seen.
All right, Ameshia Cross, always great having you on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.